We are now live. We're back.
Jeez, here we go. Waiting for Auntie Hill. Where are you, Auntie Hill? You good? All right, there's Auntie Hill.
Auntie Hill.
Auntie Hill is in the building.
True.
Okay.
Yes.
Hill, where is this? There. Okay, cool. There we go. Okay, and then. Come on, Auntie Hill. You good?
Hi, friends.
Hi. Oh my
we
gosh,
in?
we're
Are
like
we good? Let me get the
sideways.
volume up here.
Ooh.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay, we're good. We're solid, right?
Woo!
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
You know,
I might
okay.
have to stand up for a little bit until Gracie falls asleep, but
If we're sideways, we can't read questions.
Oh, I can read questions like
I will
this.
turn my head.
Kind of.
We'll
Yeah,
just
yeah.
be like,
But I think, like, yeah. Actually, I guess we can do this, right?
Oh, this is so fun. Oh, wait, should I go that
Yeah?
way?
Is that better?
This is so cool.
Yeah, that's better. That works.
Okay, that's better. Cool. Okay. Wait, let me fix this whole
Awesome.
thing. Thanks for joining us.
Oh my gosh, thanks for having me. This is so epic.
All right.
I was thinking about all of the cool conversations we've had and how I wish that we've recorded them.
Well, we're going to record this one. So,
It's cool.
but I guess we should start off because we all know each other, but nobody knows who you are. So why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself?
Oh man, okay. Well, my name is Hillary. I grew up in Huntington Beach. I love to run. I love to surf. I love to garden. My current residency is in Newport Beach, and then my family lives in Huntington. So I've always been a Huntington girl, and ended up going to UC Berkeley for school. I ran track and cross country there. Had a great time. Had the opportunity to move to Flagstaff, Arizona to run at the elite level. And then was living in San Diego for a bit. And then now I'm back here. So, yeah, it's a little bit about me. And yeah, I'm just so excited you guys are able to do this and be able to tell stories and just hear tons of cool stuff. So, oh, hi,
Okay.
Tay Tay. My
So,
cousin's joined.
Ooh.
why don't you start with telling us how you got started with running?
Yeah. So I started running at a really young age. I grew up with two older brothers, so I feel like having two older brothers, you learn how to be a little bit more competitive. And I just remember as kids, we were always outside playing, whether it was playing soccer or baseball or skateboarding or scootering around. It was just always a fun time as a kid, going to the beach. And so started playing soccer at a really young age. Started playing soccer when I was 4 years old and then played until high school. So my parents were always really good about embedding sports into our lives as kids. And that's something I want to do when I eventually have kids as well. And so I think growing up with sports really helped create this kind of strength and endurance as I developed into an athlete. And I found running, like the most vivid memory of running would be in middle school. So in 6th grade. I was just the kid who couldn't really sit still in the classroom. I was always really fidgety. I just couldn't wait to be outside to play and be outside with friends. And PE was always my favorite thing. And I remember did you guys have the pacer in the Bay Area? Was that a thing for you guys?
The what?
The pacer in PE.
Pacer.
Did you guys ever have that in middle school?
What was it?
So it was okay, so basically the pacer, so it's progressive, let me see if I can remember this, progressive aerobic cardio endurance. What's the R? I guess run. So basically it would test your strength and endurance. Oh, Sandy joined. It would basically test your endurance from the length of a basketball court. So I remember my PE teacher would Sours represent. Woo woo. My PE teacher used to put the cassette in and it would play these beeps. So you had to make it to the end of the basketball court before this beep. So throughout this test, it progressed and got quicker and quicker, and so you would get eliminated as you went if you couldn't hang on to the pace. And so I remember about 20 minutes in. So like class is almost over and it's just me and a few people left. And I was like still feeling really good in this pacer. And my sweet PE teacher, he was so funny. He's like, all right, Hillary, do you want to keep going? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And he's like, all right, if you keep going, I'm going to get you a burger and a shake. And I'm like, okay, it's on. And so, yeah, so I went all the way into like the next period. And I was just doing this test and I ended up finishing the tape, which was pretty funny. So like that was like the first moment of like, oh wow, like I'm pretty good at running. And the fact that I had soccer as a background, that really helped. So yeah, that was kind of my first idea of having a passion in running. And then that same PE teacher, Mr. Sahoni, he actually asked if I wanted to sign up for track and cross country. And so immediately I was like, yes. And that was one of the best decisions I could have ever made because I progressed. I ran a 5:33 mile in 8th grade and then a 4:52 mile sophomore year of high school and then a 10:27 2-mile senior year of high school. And so I had like kind of this fairy tale high school career. I had amazing mentors. I had 2 female coaches who understood me and just knew what I needed to be a successful athlete and just created this really cool, positive learning environment. I had great teammates, supportive family. And then, yeah, I just knew I wanted to get a scholarship and run and go pro. And so, yeah, that was kind of my journey with running. It's kind of funny to look back and remember those times when your passion is like so pure, you know, like
Yeah.
it's just the pure love for it, the pure fun of it. So that's how I found running.
Nice. And it's given you a pretty good background with running and training, and I'm sure you've met a lot of people. So talk to us about how you dreamt of building community and starting a run community and what that's looked like for you.
Yeah, I'll start with like why, like what running means to me and like why I've kept up with it all these years, even through the hard times. Like for me, running is like a rhythmic meditation. And it's almost, do you guys know what flow state is?
No, what's that?
Flow state is where you're in this state of just like pure, it's just
Flow,
this meditative
like surfing.
state.
So like you're flowing. So it's
You're
surf,
just
like
flowing.
just flowing.
It's all the flows. I'm sure you get it with swimming. You get it with surf. It's
Is
just
this a
this
runner's
weird
high?
experience where like everything just kind of goes away. Like you just
So it's a runner's high.
It's a runner's high, basically. Like yeah, that's a good way to put it. So with my journey and running and like as I'm gonna be 29 next month. Like as I look back, running has evolved into so many different meanings, and I'm curious to hear your guys' interpretation on that with like swim and surf. And for me, when I first started running, like I said, it was like the pure aspect of the sport. It was just having fun with my friends. And then in college, it kind of became this business. I mean, my scholarship was on the line, my education was on the line. I almost felt like I had to do it for someone else. So it kind of took that passion away. I still loved it, but it was like this other thought, another internal pressure, like I need to do my best, I need to perform so I can continue on with the scholarship. And then post-college, going to the elite level, same thing, but I had this feeling of like needing to prove myself because I had such a terrible college career. I felt like at the elite level, I was like, all right, this is my time to like get back at it, to prove that I belong here. Almost like I didn't think I was worthy enough, so I was like trying to prove that I was. So just an interesting concept. We'll dive more into that and kind of the mindset behind that. But after running at the elite level, I started coaching. I feel like that's when I found the switch. That's when I was like, oh my gosh, like I want to get back to the sport. Like I want to teach, especially young females, like a lot of young females right now in athletics don't know how to express their feelings, especially if they have a male coach. Like they don't feel comfortable enough to talk about things, which is totally understandable. I don't think male coaches know how to talk about like more of those personal things. So for me as a coach, it felt more like mentorship. And then now today running feels like a nice meditation flow. And it's funny because I see Nico watching here. we were talking today this morning, and it was so cool. Such a stoke to hear him say, "Hell, guess what? Like, I went running." I'm like, "No way!" And so we didn't get really a chance to like talk fully into it because a wave was coming. But we chatted real quick. Like, I asked him like, "Oh, like how's it going? Like, how far are you going?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm doing 5 miles," and I'm like, "That's awesome." And he's like, "I don't know how you do it." And I was kind of thinking like, it just becomes like a part of you, like just like surfing. Like, Nico, like, how do you surf that well? You know, like it just kind of becomes this rhythmic motion where you just kind of get used to it. So, I don't even remember the question you asked me. Sometimes I can just rattle on.
Well, we're good because
okay.
you talked about your running community.
Nico, you told me you ran recently. Don't say you didn't run.
No, but so you started a run community. You started a run club. So
Yes.
touch on that.
Yeah.
Or actually, here, why did you feel the need to start a run community? Because people like, you know, our cousin Nico and other people, everybody runs, right? Except me, obviously, I don't run. But
Yeah.
everybody runs. So why did you think there was a need to create a community and bring people together to run? What was your idea or thought?
Yeah. First, everyone is born to run. Everyone is meant to run.
No.
But people
But
don't
okay.
believe they can run. That's
No.
the thing.
Everybody.
I tried to get Justin to come out to Run Club. You
No.
walked a couple times.
Yeah.
You did.
Our bodies have the ability.
So
to
it's like
run,
the first
but-
thing I've noticed is like people don't think they can run. When in reality, it's like everyone can run. It's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
hurt,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but like you can run.
Right.
And so when I was living in Flagstaff, the run community there was really cool. They had this run club that I helped work at, and they had elite runners, and then they had community runners of all ages. They had a kids group, and then they had an adult group. And so we'd have these really cool workouts every week, and I just really loved the vibe of it and having everyone come together and have a space for people to all just be together and just share like what's going on in their week. And doesn't even have to be about running, like just to catch up. And so when I left Flag, I knew that was something that was really hard, like that community aspect. And I wanted to bring that into Huntington because like there's not really a lot of run clubs around here. I mean, there's Cal Coast, which is in Newport, but there's not really much going on run club wise, especially in Huntington. And so Leah and our good friend Nicole, we created a little group. Nicole is living in Colorado right now. She's more nutrition based. So if you have any nutrition questions, we can link her page below. And then Leah, with all of her background in swim, she's been a great attribute when it comes to like strength training and yoga, and you run too. So it's good to have that as well. So we kind of all collaborated and used our strengths to create this group. And so it was just cool. Like every Monday night we'd meet down at the pier, like no pressure, just come if you're free. And we would just, talk story, hang out, get a workout in. And like, we would have all ages. We had kids come one time. We had people who've never run before. So we'd start them with like just walking. And so it was cool. It was just a good group. And we stopped a little bit just to give people some rest, and then COVID hit, so it's been hard getting the group back together. But that was something that always meant a lot to me, was just having that group together and just be there for one another. We had a lot of hardship, like a lot of hard things that happened to people and families, and so like I feel like it was a good time to have each other during that, you know. We had a lot of good support then, so it was much needed. And so we'd love to bring that back. So hopefully soon, when things kind of, die down with everything.
So creating community and being there and supporting people, that's close to your heart. That's something that you're passionate about. Like, no, let's not talk about running for a second here. We'll just talk about you.
Yeah. Sorry,
community and how you work with people. So obviously your vehicle is to use running. You use running as a way to connect with people, but you're doing that to serve the community, in particular to bring fellowship and to bring people together. It's a way that you're passionate about because you do want to be a teacher. So my next question is, what makes you so passionate about wanting to help people? Again, creating community, wanting to make sure people succeed, whether it's running or whether it's coaching them mentally and
Yeah.
trying to have them overcome mental obstacles and hurdles. What drives you to be so passionate to help others?
Wow, that's a fantastic question.
That's the
funny,
hardball question.
My mom and I were just talking about that. Like, she's like, I always wanted to make sure that you were a nice person. And that's always, yeah, she's a sweetheart. And like, that's always been close to my heart. Like, just always be nice and be kind to others, because you never know what they're going through. And like, always give people time and space. And so another big passion of mine is mindfulness. I had a really tough time in college when it came to like anxiety and panic attacks. Like, I had no idea what was going on with my health and my mental health. And I love the aspect of the mind-body connection. And so when it comes to community, like, I have this passion to help people be, like, giving them space to be vulnerable and being able to just open up and just like talk and have someone to listen to. Like, yeah. I think that's a really beautiful thing. And so yeah, with this mind-body connection, like the ability to just like, it's okay to feel the way you feel in moments. Like, I think for me, I had the hardest time, like, should I be feeling this way? Like, why am I feeling this way? Like, why do I feel so upset? Like, I should feel happy about this. And like, I couldn't understand just accepting, like, stop trying to control, because whatever you try and control, whatever you're trying to resist persists. So like, all these like negative thoughts, negative stories, doubts, fears going on in my head, I couldn't process everything, which made my anxiety go up even more. And I couldn't understand that at a younger age. And so the more research, more time I've talked to people and read and take classes about it, like, it's a really fascinating aspect of the correlation between movement and the mind. And so that's what I take into like coaching, because I've seen both sides of the sport when it comes to running. I've seen the amazing side of reaching all of my goals and being on top and being confident. And I've had really bad lows where I felt worthless. And I was like so focused on my performance. Like, my performance seemed to be like my definition of worthiness, or like my identity. And so realizing, like, you are not your thoughts, you are not your performance, you are not your job, you are not, you know, your relationship. You are you, and you only have control of yourself and your happiness. And so when it comes to like teaching and coaching and educating, like, I just really want to help people to be aware of what's going on in their head, because I don't think the brain is being worked out enough. So that's what I hope to do with coaching and education.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah, I love that. The whole person. You have to, you know, take into account everything about your body, not just working out, but you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And so one thing that I hope people can learn through this conversation is, I'll tell a little story. So I started mindfulness training when my anxiety got really bad. Like, I'd have panic attacks where I would faint and pass out, and it was like a really scary thing. Like, my body would get so full of adrenaline and like so much cortisol, like so much stress hormone, that it would just like, I would just go boop, like just pass out. And so learning more about it, it's your fight and flight mechanism. So basically, there's an alarm going off in your head. Like, your anxiety is good to the point where it starts to like tip to the point where it's like hurting you. And so with that, like, I would get to the point where I couldn't control my anxiety, that like, instead of, so I don't know if you've heard of like fight or flee when it comes to like your survival mechanism. I would just faint and pass out. And so I was like, what is going on? Like, I'm healthy, like, I'm an athlete, like, why am I passing out? And so I do all these blood tests, and like, everything was good. And this one doctor was like, you're just stressed out. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm not stressed out. Like, I could not admit the fact that I was stressed out.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of thinking about it, like, oh, maybe I am stressed out. And like every symptom led to like anxiety. And so, long story short, I was hanging out with my grandma one day and I was talking to her about like, oh, like mindfulness. Like, do you know much about mindfulness? She's like, no. And so I was like, oh, I'm kind of getting like really like excited about it. And there's this class over at UCI, like I've been looking at, and well, I don't know. I think I need to save some money to take it. And so the next day she comes over with a check and she's like, you take this class. And I did. And it was the best thing. So it was an 8-week program of mindfulness. And we did this retreat. And I'll never forget this. It just kind of shows this kind of like fight with your mind and like how competitive I am, especially with myself. I remember we did this meditation. And it was a silent day where you couldn't talk to anyone, and like that's like really hard for me.
It's really hard to do.
Yeah, so
hard.
I remember we did this meditation, and it was a long one. It was like an hour meditation, and like there's like 50 people in the room, and I was really proud of myself, like for going and doing it. And so I'm like sitting there during the meditation, I'm like looking around. I almost felt like I was like a kid in a classroom, just like everyone's like doing their work, and like I'm not. And so I decided to like go to the bathroom, and then I came back, and like, you know, I was just trying too hard. And so anyway, after the meditation, the instructor, she was asking everyone about their experience and how they liked it. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, it was so amazing. Like I had so much fun with it. I reflected and found these whole new things. And then she's like, oh, okay, good. And she's like, and she knew I was struggling. And she's like, did anyone have a hard time? And she's like looking at me, and I'm just like, yep, I did. Like, I'm sorry. And she's like, no, like, thank goodness. Like, tell us more. Like, what were you feeling? And so I was like, it was really hard. Like, I just could not stop my thoughts. And she's like, that's the thing, is you cannot stop your thoughts. Like, thoughts are just thoughts. It's okay to feel. Accept that you're feeling this way. Because the more you try, and obviously the more you try, like the more thoughts are coming in. And so this one thing I learned, it's like a mechanism for meditation of just slowing down the brain. It's called, so the acronym is RAIN. So R is recognizing the thought. So noticing that it's there and accepting the thought, like, okay, this is just a thought. And then A is going to be acceptance. So like maybe I should give an example. So like say, okay, I'm like really nervous on this live right now. Like everyone's watching. So I'm recognizing like, okay, like this is just an anxious thought. So that's R, recognizing.
Yeah.
I'm nervous. Yeah. A is accepting like, okay, like it's okay. Like just be you. Like it's okay. Just express what you need to say, and also like be vulnerable too. Like say you're nervous. And then hold on, let me look at my notes real quick. I is investigating, so looking more into like what's the root of this thought. And then N is non-identifying with the thought, so meaning like don't attach yourself with this thought, because this thought is not you. It's just a thought passing by.
Distracting to you.
Does that make sense? Like you're kind of labeling the thought and you're kind of letting it go, almost like a car passing by or a cloud passing by, because the more you hold on to it, the more you cling to it and attach to it and identify to it, and it causes this whole like reactive broken wheel of constant thoughts, and you end up getting anxiety and all of that. So it's just focusing on your breath and just letting the thoughts pass by, and don't hold on to things that don't serve you. So that's really helped me.
Yeah, that reminds me of that verse, be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that everything's going to be taken care of. I have everything in my hands. So I love that silence exercise. Because a lot of people, they just want to be so wrapped up in like busyness. They're like, if I'm busy, I'm successful, I'm productive. And people don't realize that busyness is distraction. Like,
definitely.
It can distract you so much from what you need to do.
Right. And distraction is like a coping mechanism. It's like something that keeps you so you're not with yourself. And I don't know why it's so hard to be with yourself. Like, why do you guys think it's so hard to just sit?
I think it's because a lot of people, I feel like a lot of people have insecurities and fears. I think fear is a lot. So when people start like thinking about those fears and those insecurities, I don't know, I think people start panicking. But if they stop thinking about fear and just letting go to faith, I feel like that's when the be still and know really starts applying to your day or your activity. So I remember when I would step up, and the 400 IM was what we did in college, and I would know that event just got me so nervous. So I'm like, it's like it's not very long, it's like 4 minutes, but anyway, to me it's like a pretty long
that's
event.
long for swimming. Oh my
You have
gosh.
to do 4 lengths of butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, freestyle. I'm like, oh my gosh, this event could either go one of two ways. If I don't start off strong enough, I'm gonna die. And I just had so much anxiety, but I just remember the races I did the best on. I stood up next to the blocks, ready to go, and I was just like, you work so much for this moment. Just have faith, like swim in faith. Don't swim in fear. Because if oh my gosh, did I do enough? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna miss this turn. I'm gonna miss this turn. Then you're gonna miss the turn. You're gonna false start.
Right.
You're gonna do whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, you're almost like predicting. I would do that like in college when it was almost like a repetitive pattern. Like every time I'd have a bad race, like I'd already have in my head, like I'd be on the starting line and like looking at my competitors, and I would already psych myself out.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
I would psych myself out too. I totally get it.
Yeah, I just try and tell the girls that I teach, like, or coach, just breathe, give yourself some mantras, like, and it's interesting too with like the body, when you feel scared, you want to kind of contract in, like your body just like automatically does that. And when you feel like confident, you feel more open. Have you noticed that? Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
It's so interesting how like the mind and body work like that. But yeah,
it happens in labor too.
It happens
in labor.
Sorry,
it's
guys.
like so real for labor when you're having kids. Okay, side note. We're talking about Hillary here.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
But it's so true though. You don't want to resist it. It's like,
right.
Otherwise you tense up even more.
Yeah, that's so interesting. We'll talk more about labor another day.
Okay. Sorry, side note.
Well, does anybody have any questions for
I know I haven't been
our semi-professional runner?
She's a very professional runner.
Questions,
Oh,
comments?
Meg Z? I didn't
Thoughts?
see Meg's comment. Oh.
I think she tuned in. And Nico said that he runs every day. Right, Uncle Nico?
I'm so proud of him. I know. I hope what people are taking from this, like, just because they don't run, like, I hope they can find their flow state in something that makes them feel just like they can express themselves and let go and
especially
find
during these
stress
times.
reduction. Especially during these times,
during these times, right? Oh, we have some questions.
Oh, what are your thoughts on barefoot running? So many questions. Cool.
Ooh, what do you think?
Okay, Keith and Sophia. This is so exciting. I've never done this before, so it's like, it's cool. Becca! Okay, so Keith and Sophia asked, what are your thoughts on barefoot running? So when I was a kid, I ran on the beach a lot, barefoot. And then during high school, like if we did a track workout, our feet are so stiff from spikes, like we would run on the park across the street barefoot, and that was nice to just like shake out the legs. So it's good if your foot is adjusted to it. I would not recommend it if like you're doing it every day. So, okay, I'll go on like a little rant about this. I don't know if you remember when like the 5 fingers came out, like the the barefoot running.
Yes.
Yeah. Really cool idea.
For the feet.
Yeah, and I liked the idea of it. So it's based off a book, Born to Run, and it's about a Native American tribe who would run barefoot, and like the anatomy behind that, and like the science behind like, oh, it's so good for you, it strengthens you, and I think it does. But like you have to think about like, we were born, like when we were babies, like we were put into shoes like so soon. I mean, I don't know if Gracie's always barefoot. She might always be barefoot.
Oh, so far she's been only barefoot. But we'll see. She's only through 4 months.
Yes, we were always put into shoes all the time. So we always had that cushion nonstop. And so when these 5 fingers came out, a lot of people thought they could go right into barefoot running, but it's so hard on the bones. Like, Leah, I don't know if you saw, just because you're in that medical field, like if you saw like there was like suing that happened because of these shoes, because like people were breaking bones and the 5 fingers, yeah. And so it's a cool concept if you do it like once or twice a week. I would not recommend doing it all the time. I mean, I've seen people run like half marathons barefoot, like go them, but I hope they're training to do that. So just a little at a time. And like if you end up like training to the point where like you don't need shoes, like rock on, like that's awesome. I would just be careful when it comes to injuries.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's a perfect answer, I feel like.
Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense, because some people's bodies are built for it and others aren't, you know?
Yeah.
Especially.
And it's hard too because I love walking around barefoot.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, remember when we were surfing, I stepped in glass down on Main Street? Like, you just never know like what's on the ground too. Like that works.
Yeah.
Hey, what's your favorite shoe?
What's your favorite
shoe?
Hannah?
Should I show you my shoe closet?
Yeah, let's see the shoe closet.
Okay, hold on 1 second. This is my board.
What kind of board is that?
What kind of fancy board is that?
Oh, Robert August, the banana boat. Got it at HSS.
Very nice.
Ooh, we got some.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about feet. Yes, Hannah.
My favorite shoe is my rainbow sandal because it does not require me to run in order to use it.
My favorite shoe, I mean, yeah, probably rainbows, but my favorite running shoe will always be Asics. Oh, Hillary's back.
Okay, pro. What do you got?
What does the pro say?
So bad with shoes. I would show you my like closet, but it's kind of dirty. Okay. These are my Brooks Ghosts. So I'm a big fan of Brooks. I also have the launches. So the Ghosts I would use more for like longer runs. And then the launches I would use more for like tempo runs or shorter runs. And then I got my Hokas. These are more for like interval training. Well, I would also like race in these for like the half marathon interval training. And then these are my Sauconys that I would do like actual like 5K races in. So that's kind of my shoe collection in my house. But I also have shoes in my car. I'm really bad with running shoes. I used to work at a lot of running stores. So yeah, if you want to learn more about the actual like stability versus neutral and like cushion amount and all that, like you can totally DM me and I will help you with that. But Running Warehouse
she helped me with it, so
yeah, Running Warehouse is a good website if you want to get half off shoes. Because like when they remake shoes, the previous model is like pretty similar and they're like 50% off. So I would go for the
perfect. Save money.
Very nice. There was another question I wanted you to answer. How did you get into surfing? And why do you currently surf? And who do you surf with?
That's a lot of questions.
Ooh, I know. I feel like I should rep who's talking to me right now.
Well, I mean, we know who you surf with, but like, how did you get into surf? I mean, you're a runner. Runners don't like water. It's like cats in water. So how did you transition from running, which is like, to like surfing, which is like the greatest thing ever?
I
mean, you look at the poll. The poll says surf versus run. One person voted run, which is probably you.
Wait, who voted run? Yes.
I'm sure you voted run. I'm just saying.
No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
You didn't vote run?
I did not vote.
Oh my goodness. Well, anyway, okay. How did you get into surf? Sorry. How did you get into surf?
Oh my gosh, this is a funny story. My dad tried to surf with me when I was younger, but I was like too scared. He would do like tandem with me, which was really cool. Like I felt like confident with him with me, and I was like up in the air rather than like down in the water.
Yeah.
And so I always had kind of this weird thing with the ocean where like, well, it's funny because like I would love the ocean being with my brothers, but like if I was by myself, I'd get a little nervous. And I really wish I did junior guards, but I ended up doing soccer and running. But I found surfing, like I got more into it post college, like especially when I moved back home. It was just a good way to get out of my head. Like running became this obligation. And so surfing was not only a new challenge, but like just a new way to get out of my head and have fun and learn something. So I met Leah at a women's group, and she invited me to come surf with her. And I was like, yes, I would love to. Like, first of all, I need more friends. And second of all, like,
she has a lot of friends. But surf friends.
And like also like there's not a lot of like surfing ladies out there. So
yeah, there's not a lot.
Just, like when I met you, I was like, oh my gosh, this girl's awesome. Like, yeah, like for sure.
Did you say there's not a lot of surfing babes out there?
Surfing.
I think I said ladies.
Oh, you said ladies. Oh,
I thought,
or surf babes.
I thought you said surf babes. Oh, okay. Wow, my bad. I misspoke. I'm sorry. Surf babe. Okay.
But my boyfriend is teaching me how to body surf, and that's been really hard.
You have fins?
So I have fins, but it's like the same technique. Like he's trying to teach me, and I like can't do it. I don't know. It's been really tough, but
yeah, it's hard.
It's hard. But I'm excited to use surfing to learn more about body surfing. But yeah, so meeting you and just surfing every weekend pretty much, and then getting better at it, and that was hard. Like I'd always get like so mad at myself.
Like, but you did amazing.
I learned that like being patient with yourself is like when there's something new that you're experiencing, like just be patient and positive self-talk and like just have fun and encourage others, because like when you encourage others, then you feel.
You were amazing this morning, and you're going to be amazing on Sunday because you're going to come surf with us on Sunday.
Yeah. Hill is one of those, what do you call those people? That said, when we first surfed over there, she was like, I'm not that good, I'm not that good.
Oh, she's a ringer. She's a ringer. You're a ringer. You are a ringer. She's like the worst person. She said that like she doesn't surf, and you ended up catching like 30 waves the first time. That's not cool. So
it's all because of Leah. Like she charges.
You are a talented athlete. Everyone take a look.
This is today.
Hillary surfing, epically surfing on her yellow banana board.
She dropped it like this.
Look at her face. Look at her face. I'm so happy.
Okay, question. Do you see how my board is like waterlogged?
What'd you say?
Do you see how my board's like waterlogged in that?
It's waterlogged?
It is? Oh, it's going in the water.
Oh, no, that's legit. Yeah, no, that's just spray.
No,
you're good.
Doesn't it look like...
No, that's...
Am I like...
No, that's spray. You're good. Yeah.
Total spray, Hill.
You are okay. Oh, my goodness. Well, what a treat for talking with Auntie Hill. And, babe, do you want to explain to people who Hill is to us? Because, I mean, she introduced herself, but, like, everybody, okay, so you guys have been following us for quite some time. You always see this person, and she's traveled with us. Like, she's been to Thailand, she's been to Costa Rica. So, babe, why don't you explain who this person is?
She's the vanilla to my Manila.
Oh, my lordy. Not that.
To my butter. Okay, so Hillary is a very special, dear, sweet sister to our souls and to our hearts. We met, exactly how Hill said. We met at Bible study, actually, which neither one of us goes to that group anymore. But the moment we met, we just knew instantly we were going to be not only friends, but like soul friends, you know, like soul sisters. Sisters of the sea.
Sisters of the sea.
But yeah, Hillary just seriously just came into our lives like family, and forever will be. We traveled the world together. We ran hills, Catalina. I did my first like incredible run.
You guys won money together.
Twice.
We won money together. Twice.
I want to talk about your journey with running. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, that's gonna be another. That's gonna be another episode. That'll be another episode because we're like
this girl right here
leading the camera. Yeah.
Because of you, though, you inspired me to do it. I wouldn't have ran those intense hills.
That's like the most beautiful thing. Like, I hope someone can take from this conversation. I hope people can take away like, just do what you love and enjoy every moment. Like, don't get stuck in like the performance aspect, because I've done that way too much where like, you know, I just will think about like the end result, and then once I get that end result, you know, I'll think about the next thing. Like I don't appreciate the process. Like I don't get to enjoy the process. And so one thing I learned in my Yale class that I'm taking with my boyfriend, we learned this thing called hedonic adaptation, where like you get so used to something, like you lose kind of the appreciation of it. And so it's like taking that time out and just realizing and being grateful for like everything that you have, and especially during this time. It's been a really hard time. But anyway, going back to you, Leah, I don't know how I got on that tangent, but going back to you, when I met you, like, I don't know, I just had this like, I was like, this girl is so cool. She is a rock star. Like, this girl is never, she's a swimmer. She's an athlete. Like, she's an athlete. She's good at everything. And
no, not everything.
She's like, yeah, I run. And so her and I went running, and this girl can run, even though she's a swimmer. Like, she can run. So, long story short, she ended up doing the Catalina half. You did the 10K.
I did the 10K. Yeah.
Yeah, and freaking destroyed it.
Oh my god. I
some swimmers can run, okay, and Leah, even though she swam, like she can run. She could have ran.
We should ask Tom Shields. Tom Shields just joined.
Oh hey.
Let's see if he.
I think that guy.
Ask him a question.
I think that guy knows how to swim. Tom Shields, right? Actually, funny story. So Tom, I don't know you. This is Justin. This is Leah. We actually saw your board at HSS. We saw it on the consignment rack. Yeah, we saw it on the consignment rack, and we saw it with your phone number. So we were like, wait a minute, we can totally call this guy right now. So, yeah,
That's so
he actually, I think he swims at Los Cab where we swim too. But anyway, no, like Leah can run. Leah ran, and she won money and everything, and
with Hillary's
with
help.
you, yeah, because you coached her with said run club. So again, guys, Hill not only does a run club, but she does coaching as well. To cap everything off, okay, this is the person that you want to get in contact with in terms of just running in Huntington. If you want somebody to run with, whether you're running solo and you don't know where to start, or you're looking for a community, Hill's your person. So message her, DM her. If you have any questions, ask her. If you want to run with a club, you can run with her. If you want to run with community, if you want to paddle out with her, she takes great pictures too. She's an incredible person.
Yes.
She eats really healthy too. That's what we learned. I think we learned how to like get groceries and stuff. So, yeah. Any last questions, thoughts, comments, concerns, things of all that for Auntie Hill? Hey Hill, say hi to your niece.
Hi, Gracie baby.
Hi, Auntie Hill.
Do you have anything to say to Auntie Hill?
Are you gonna say something to
My
Auntie
love,
Hill?
do you have anything to say to Auntie Hill?
I love you.
I love you, Hill.
Oh.
She says that she loves you too. Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, Hill, thank you so much for dropping in. We truly, truly appreciate it. Were you going to say something? Sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, no, it's okay. Yeah, I just wanted to see if anyone had, I know I kind of threw a lot out there, but I wanted to see if anyone had any last comments. Oh, Erica, hey girl. Yeah, in conclusion, like, I just want people to just move their body and find their flow state, do what they love, find gratitude and share that gratitude to others, and just be aware of what's going on inside your brain, and take time for yourself, especially during this time, and really look in. And yeah, and I'm always here if you want to chat or message me about any questions. I know there were some questions here we didn't get to, but yeah, would love to answer those. So
yeah, any of those other questions that you guys have, just go ahead and message either us or Hill directly. The next one we're going to do, I think, is sometime next week. We've had an overwhelmingly positive response to doing this. Oh, my love. A lot of people have wanted to sign up to do this. We think that's great. So if you guys are interested, we're a little backed up, but we'd love to have you on here just like Hill, so you guys can share whether it's your testimony, your passion, what you guys are going through, what you think helps somebody else. Because the whole reason why we're doing this is we want others to take away something from this. And anytime Hill talks, it's an incredible experience because somebody takes away pearls of wisdom from Auntie Hill.
Yes.
She's helped so many people in the short amount of time that we've known her. So she's an incredible asset. She's truly a gem, and we are incredibly blessed to have her in our lives. And we look forward to seeing her on Sunday to surf.
Oh,
So
yes.
again, if you guys want to paddle out, talk story, or need prayer, we are social distance surfing
Social distance
on
surfing.
Sunday. If you are interested, just message us or Hill.
Oh,
Thanks for
yes.
tuning in. Auntie Hill, we love you.
Thank you, Hill. We love you so much.
Love you guys. Thanks
Bye,
so much.
everybody.
That was
Thanks
so
for dropping
fun.
in. See ya.